Welcome to the social selling system. So today we're going to talk about how to get clients through social, because a lot of people are on social and they're posting and spending a lot of time, but they haven't been able to bridge that gap from I'm posting a lot on social to I'm getting clients for social. And that's the goal today, is to show you the system that we use with our clients and we recommend to actually start getting clients from social. And one of the big things here to remember, and I think this is where a lot of people get said, is you're in sales. So there's going to be that you're going to be focusing on generating conversations with a sales angle. And sometimes that can make people uncomfortable. And I think that is part of the gap from people who get results and those who don't. So what we're talking about today is not about how to become like an influencer with tens and tens of thousands of followers. I mean, that can certainly happen when you're doing this program, but that is never the goal. And our goal is to get you sales and get you clients and get you paid. If you happen to become an influencer because you're really good on it, great. But at no point is that the goal of the system we're talking about. The system we're working with you is about getting clients. And one of the first things to start changing your mindset on is the idea that one new follower is a new lead. If someone takes the time to follow a real estate agent, there is some intention behind that and an opportunity to start a conversation with them. Now, you will have to go look, because there's obviously things like spam followers and different things like that. But the first mindset shift here is that you need to start looking at it as every new follower is a lead. Now, there's a difference between a lead and a prospect. So a lead is what in the kind of the B2B world they refer to as a marketing qualified lead or an MQL. A prospect is what I'd refer to as an SQL, a sales qualified lead. So a marketing qualified lead is someone who's kind of interested in it, but maybe not anywhere close to the transaction level. A sales qualified lead is when someone is transaction ready. Maybe it's not with you. But you know that they're now qualified and they're going to be in kind of the timeline where they're ready to start the sales process. So a new follower is what we'd call a marketing qualified lead. They're putting their hand up saying they're interested in real estate, but we don't know yet if they're going to be transacting soon. So now your next steps are going to be about finding that out in your process. So again, we're talking about leads, not prospects. And that miscommunication is an important one when we're talking about this program. And one of the big things that's happening right now across social is that discovery feeds are becoming bigger and bigger. So when social media started out, it was chronological. Then it was algorithm based, so they started kind of showing you what they thought would be the best content. Now it's even moved, thanks to especially TikTok growing in such popularity so fast, to what we're calling a discovery feed, where maybe only about 50% of the feed is people you follow. The rest are people that you don't, and they're trying to surface that great content. So it's one of the best times to start having your content get in front of people that don't know you yet. And it's an incredible opportunity. So this moment we're in right now with discovery feeds presents a huge opportunity to start getting real business from social a lot quicker than even a couple years ago. Because before it was a lot harder with businesses organically to grow the same way. Whereas now there's a huge opportunity to get in front of the right audience with the right content and start getting clients. And that's all thanks to discovery feeds. And one of the things you're going to have to start doing is creating content. And that doesn't mean you have to create really fancy content that is very much produced. Like if you go to my Instagram, majority, I just grab my phone, I put it like this, I speak to my camera, and I try to get out in 60 seconds or less. Like a lot of the reels you see on my personal Instagram, which you can see underneath here, takes me about 6-7 minutes start to finish, from thinking about what I'm going to say, filming it, adding the captions, getting that posted. That's about 6-7 minutes start to finish. Not complicated, and it gets a lot of results for the business using this exact system. And that's part of the reason I'm doing those videos, besides to grow my business, to show you that no matter how busy you are, you can make this work if you're willing to commit to doing it on the regular. So creating content's important. It doesn't have to be high energy. It doesn't have to be highly produced. You just need to consistently create and get better over time. And the more that you do that, the more you're going to start seeing results coming in from that content. Then, like as an example, if I was to film a video today, I might do, here's the top 3 things to look for when identifying homes to flip. And we're going to walk through and maybe be like, 1, I'm going to look for this. 2, I'm going to look for that. 3, I'm going to look for this. And then if you want to try and get some leads from that one, you should be like, DM me flip to get a list of homes for sale that make great flips. Really soft call to action there at the end. They don't have to do it, but you can just, or you can kind of do a slight twist and be like, DM or comment with me the word flip, and I'll send you a list of the best homes right now that are on the market that make great flips. So again, you front load this video that's really short with kind of some quick value packed pieces of information. Then you just followed up with a softer, hey, take this action. I want to get you to put your hand up if you're interested in this. That is a lead. And a big part of social too is also showing that you're a complete person. A lot of people go on social and they just show, okay, I'm the real estate guy. I'm just going to be real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate. But you have to get them to also know and like you. And a lot of the time that's done by seeing you as a full person that's out there. So I always try to recommend like picking 3 different buckets of content, and one of those is real estate. Now that'll be the main bucket. But like, for example, I talk about my family a lot. That's not what everyone wants to do out there. But I kind of talk about marketing, business, real estate as kind of like the main one. I do talk a little bit about family, and then sometimes just other hobbies that I have going on in my life. But I'm kind of showing across the board that there's a whole person behind the account. And so then when they see the marketing, they relate to it more, they relate more to the person. And then when I engage with them and send messages and talk to them, it feels more organic. It feels more like they're building a relationship as opposed to they're being sold. And that's an important part, is it makes sales easier if they see you as a whole person and not just that person who only does real estate. That's their entire life. Nothing else exists outside of real estate. So my recommendation is pick 3 different things that you can focus on. So one will be real estate. The other one could be family. It could be bowling. It could be aviation, cooking, literally anything you want. The choice is completely up to you. You decide what that looks like. You get it. You put it into play. And that works really, really well. And one of the big transitions, and this is where most people are missing that transition from, okay, even if I'm getting views, I'm getting comments, I'm getting engagement, we're not getting business. It's because most of that is coming from direct messaging, or what you call the DMs, is you got to get into people's DMs as much as possible so that you can have private conversations. People are going to share with you more. You can have longer, more in-depth conversations. It's always going to come right to their phone. And even if they've kind of paused their other notifications, most people still have the DM ones turned on, you're going to see a lot more successful. So you want to put a focus on getting more DMs out there. Because if you're not having a lot of these, that's where you're going to start seeing a lot of struggles. So if you get a new follower, DM them. You don't have to overcomplicate this process, though. A lot of people get really in their head about, okay, what do I say? What do I say? How do I approach it? All this stuff. Don't worry too much about that. We're going to keep it really, really simple. Just say, hi, thanks for following me. Did you follow to learn more about real estate in your area, or are you planning to move soon? If they say, I'm just curious, learning more about the area, just be like, great, looking forward to engaging with you. If there's any type of content you'd like to see, I'm always happy to hear feedback, but appreciate you taking the time to follow me. Super simple, very easy. If they say, I'm planning a move, then we go into the next steps of the sales process, because they are showing that intent. Before you send this DM, go look at their profile first. Take a second, go look. Do they live locally? Is it a spam account? Are they another service provider? Are they another realtor? You send this message to everybody that looks like a potential client. That's the goal here. Is you're only sending this to the people that show. And if you're not sure, send the message anyways. But a lot of spam accounts, you can just ignore those and remove them as a follower. If you get a comment on one of your posts, DM them. Like, I actually got sold this way, and that's kind of one of the things I realized how come it works so well. Like, I've done it a little bit myself, but when I bought a higher ticket product doing this, I was like, oh, that's how it works really well. And I kind of studied the process and even bought their program to understand it. and it does work incredibly well. But if someone comments on one of your stuff, again, ignore other realtors commenting, ignore like service providers, things like that. But anyone that's a potential client, they comment, you reply on there, but then you separately say, hey, thanks for engaging with me. I really appreciate it. Were you just interested in that? You just think that one listing was pretty cool if that's what they commented on. And then say, or are you actually in the market to move? Again, keep it simple. Anything but them saying anything but yes, I'm in the market to move. You just kind of keep it as a more friendly conversation, but then you just stay in touch with them. Now, if they are interested, again, you move right back into the qualifying process there. But this is the big one. And I know some people find this move uncomfortable, but it does work really well. Now, here's one where I know this does make people really uncomfortable, is if you are doing your stories and you see people are engaging, you're seeing someone like watch a lot of your stories, DM them. Be like, hey, thanks. I've noticed your name popping up as someone who views my stories a lot. I was just sort of curious, are you finding them valuable, or are you in the market soon? I'm just curious. And it works. Like, a lot of people find it uncomfortable because it's against the social norms to comment on something like that and to send that kind of unsolicited DM. But because it's uncomfortable, there's also so few people doing it. That's what's separating people getting business versus not. So you really want to approach it from this perspective of, this will help me get business from what I'm doing here. And now once you have them, before you move to a phone call, just using the DM features, message them, ask them the questions, find out timeline, find out where they are in the process. And you can start understanding those pieces about them. So what you have as your main qualifying goals, you're doing that right in your direct messaging with people, because you want to understand if, before you jump on a phone call, before you jump to an in-person thing, is this someone who's a potential client? So you're going to get into this with a lead, and you're trying to identify the prospects just from the DM. So before you start getting on calls and making all that time investment, you're just going to do it over the DMs as you go. So you qualify them there. Everyone who then puts up their hand to show that they're a prospect, then you go more into like, all right, let's get on the phone, let's book an appointment and things like that. Otherwise, you don't want to move too quickly to that stage yet. And part of this process, you will lose followers. Like, you will sometimes get a new follower, you'll DM them a question like this, and they are not ready for that. They're a little intimidated. They'll unfollow you. That's fine. This is going to happen. You will get business doing this consistently, but you will lose a few followers along the way, and that's fine. Some people just aren't ready. They can come back later when they are, or if at all, but you will find this approach does work really well. But don't worry if you do lose some followers along the way. That's fine. Again, you're in sales. Your goal is not to build the biggest following. It's to build a client list and work with them and service them. And your goal here, every day, send 5 new DMs, minimum. Eventually, you want to try and get that number up essentially as high as you can. There's no limit. Like, I have seen people who do this, and then basically what you think of as like a traditional ISA, calling leads that come in. They've actually taken an ISA, moved them to their Instagram, and then had that ISA essentially answering Instagram DMs. It happens because you can get a really nice flow of these coming in, but you have to have that process set up. So your goal today should be send 5 new DMs every day. And by new DMs, I mean to a new person. You don't just message the same person every day. You want 5 new DMs to potential clients. So again, people who could never be potential clients or someone who refers you business, that doesn't count. This has to be DMs to people who could potentially do business or refer business to you. And so you're going to send 5 of these every day minimum. The more you can get, the faster you'll eventually grow. And until you start getting consistent inbound DMs, so like the content that I talked about earlier, where it's like, hey, DM me flip to get a list of homes that you could flip. Until you start getting consistent flow of inbound DMs from people, you're going to have to spend a lot of time sending outbound ones. And then eventually, as your content's resonating more and getting more and more views, you're growing that following, you're going to start seeing more inbound come in. But initially, you are going to have to commit to this outbound flow of them. And it does work, but it's going to take a little bit of time. And your goal with a lot of this is to stay in the last 50 interactions that people had. To oversimplify social algorithms, it's pretty simple. The last 50 people who engage with you are the next group who's going to see your content. So you want to stay in as many people's last 50 interactions as possible. So if someone comes in as a lead, and even if they're not a prospect yet, your goal is to always stay in their last 50 interactions. So that's posting content regularly, engaging with their content, replying to their stories. Just stay in their interactions as much as possible. And then over time, when they are ready, they're going to come back to you. It's an easy way to nurture these leads that come in as part of it. But your goal with all these people coming through is to stay in as many people's last 50 interactions as possible. So that way, when you're adding in new followers, your engagement's growing instead of kind of staying flat. Because what some people do is they start growing it, and the second someone doesn't show interest in them enough, for them, they kind of let them go and focus on the new people, and you see their engagement kind of stays flat even with the follower list going up because these people stop seeing their content. If you stay in everyone's last 50, then you start kind of growing that engagement exponentially as you go up. And the great way to look at content success before you start getting clients is how many saves and shares of your content are you getting versus likes and comments. You want to get as many saves and shares as you do likes on a post. That's when you know it's resonating with people. If you get something that has like 50 posts, 0 saves or 0 shares, then you know it's not that necessarily that they're finding it valuable. They might be supporting you by just double tapping that, and they might kind of say, oh, that's kind of a nice shot, and keep going. But saves and shares are a great metric early on to give you an idea of which content's resonating, which one's going to bring the most people to you. Your focus is initially on how many saves and shares are your content going to get. Then the next step from there is how many DMs can I send out a day and how many conversations are we having as part of it. But initially your focus isn't on likes or comments, it's on saves and shares. That's going to be the best indication of how good your content is or is not. So essentially, the flow that we're talking about when using this social selling system is you have discovery content. You're going to drive those people into your DMs, qualify them, nurture them, and then close them. So you can do almost all of this on social. You can get them through the nurture and close phase without actually leaving Instagram. Like you can get people to a house with never leaving the DMs. Generally between qualify, nurture, and close is when you would look to start moving them into your CRM, but that's not necessary all the time. But you can do a lot of this just over social. And if you follow this plan a lot and consistently, you will start getting clients from social. Again, this is the big gap that we see people make across their social media. And today it's discovery feeds and DMs. Tomorrow, we might not know what it is. Like social does change. Like discovery feeds weren't a thing a few years back, and there were other ways that work to bring it in, and we kind of study what's going on and staying up to date on which tactics, which strategies are working the best, and then we implement them and we test again and implement them again. So we keep kind of staying up to date on that because we don't know with how fast everything changes what's going to be the best thing. And we're not here to help you become an influencer. That's not our goal with what we're trying to do. There's other companies that can help you with that if that's what you're trying to do. We're here to help you get sales. That's our only focus, is we want you to start getting sales, start getting that commission in, and start building a real business. It has nothing to do with influencing people on social. It's about building a repeatable system that drives new revenue for you. And we do that through a program called Engage. Engage is a brand new program that we've launched, and you get the framework, systems, training, and resources to actually succeed on social. Our goal is you will have everything you need to start getting those clients from social, and you don't have to go anywhere else. We're going to stay on top of everything for you and give you everything you need with our help to start seeing results. It's not for you if you want a magic bullet or you don't want to put the work in. We want people who want to come in and take action and start implementing the different tactics and strategies that we're talking about. If you're not ready to take action, this program probably is not for you. But if you want to come in and put in the work and you're willing to take that feedback and work with us that way, then this is a program that will work for you too. The investment for this is $397 a month. You can cancel anytime. It's month to month. If you have a marketing person, they can be the ones that join. If you're a team, reach out. We have some special pricing for teams. But for an individual, it's $397 a month, and you'll get all our systems, tools, resources to make this work. And we're going to do live calls every week. And you're going to basically have our entire team have access to them to start seeing how you can get results in your business. And as you're stuck on things or getting feedback on your content, we'll help you there. We give you a whole area to upload your content so that if you do want that feedback on it, we can take a look and help you out. And if you're in, reach out. And you're going to see a link related to this video. You're going to see it depending on exactly the platform you're watching. It could be here, it could be there. But if you're in, you want to get engaged, click the link, join the program, and we're looking forward to helping you grow your business on social. If you have any questions in the meantime, DM me on Instagram. Just DM the word engage. I'll know that you're looking to get some questions answered, and then ask me any questions that you have about the program, and I'll answer them for you personally. Otherwise, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. I hope you got value, and I hope you start getting clients from social.